Alright, welcome here, folks. We got the super late models here tonight. As Heat Race 1, about to grid them up. Got out front here. Grid up. Dylan Yeager going to be the man out front. Matthew Selby there in second. Jacob Fields up in third. Blake Majulis in fourth. Josh Fuller there in fifth. Jason Salter in sixth. And Jake Cooley, seventh place spot.
8 laps, top 4 go through to the main event. We will have a minimum of 1 consolation race. I think we had, let me do the calculations. We got 7, which is 14, 21, 28 cars. So we'll have 2 consolation races.
Yeah,
well, actually, we're going to have, so there's going to be 4, 8, 12, 16, 8. Yeah, it'll either be 1 consolation race where we take the top 8, or we'll have 2 consolation races where we'll take the top 4. Just all depends on how iRacing decides they want to do it. But I can confirm, coming into tonight, we already have pretty much crowned the Season 18 season champion for the Miller Family Truck World of Thunder Esports League for the super late models is Blake Majulis. He, at the moment, without the drop rounds, so these drivers get 2 drop rounds. Without the drop rounds, Blake Majulis sits on 585. Evan C sits on 509. Dylan Hauser 489. So there's almost a 100-point gap between Majulis and Hauser. And looking at the maximum that they can get, I'm looking at sort of maximum of 70 points. So you still take into consideration the drop weeks. Blake Majulis' worst drop weeks are 55 and 61. So that accounts for a points average of 280, 340, 400, 460, 469 he sits at the moment. I just done that math on the fly.
Look, I'm lost. Green flag is flying. Hopefully the paint issues taken care of. I just hit the control R. Like some of them did flash up there, but Dylan Yeager, the man out front. Selby, you talk about Majulis already wrapping up that title. I mean, he's a guy who just comes out here. I talk about Dylan Yeager, Hauser, a lot in the pro late. This guy, man, Blake Majulis, coming out here in the super late models, man, the beat. I mean, he is just all that.
Yeah, right now he's got his work cut out for him. There's a bit of contact there with himself and Jacob Fields. Blake Majulis now going to find himself sitting in position number 4, make that 5 at this stage. He's now going to be on the outside looking. He's going to have his work cut out for him. Meanwhile, the race leader is that Team Victor Lane Racing number 48 machine of Dylan Yeager.
John Darby out in chat over there said only 20.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, like I said, it's nearly 7 months since I've been here in World of Thunder action. So
look, I've been doing this for a long time now, and I still can't get it. The math in dirt, man, is like Common Core. I tell you, hats off to Brett and the guys out here. Right there, we talk about Jacob Fields, though. He's up in third. Remember, top 3 do go straight to the feature. We know that. Everybody else going to have to run that consolation. And right now, that's Fuller and Majulis. Now, the thing about Majulis, the last couple of weeks has not been his cup of tea. He's gotten caught up in stuff and actually not had fun time in a super late model.
Yeah, looking at the point situation, looks like he's sort of run for the top 5.
I'm going to stop. I'm going to answer this question one time only. You had to inject the paints in, and I have injected them in. So trade paints is not working. So Bolton, yeah, weird. Anyways, continue that.
I was just looking at the point situation. It looks like still Majulis has finished sort of top 5 in the last sort of 3-4 weeks. It's been his last victory came in week 5, so it's a month without a win for Blake Majulis. Of course, the last 2 weeks, Evan C's picked up the win. Then prior to that one, it's been Dylan Hauser who has picked up 2. Then you go back and take a look at weeks 3, 4, and 5. That was Blake Majulis picking up those 3 victories. Dylan Yeager's picked up a win, and of course, week 1 went to Blake Majulis. So he's had 4 wins out of the 9 weeks. Looking for 5 here tonight. If he does that, we already know he's locked up the championship. But if he wins here tonight, he will have won 50% of the A mains with the super late models.
Wow, that's awesome. I don't understand what. Anyways, let me grid this up right fast. AJ Cruz out there.
Hit control R.
All right, let me get done through this. AJ Cruz out there starting out front. Dylan Wilson starting second. Bob Klein up in third. Cruz Cottle. Cadell up in fourth. Travis St. Clair there in fifth. Ben Cootermarsh starting sixth. And Nick Baum there in seventh. All right, folks, I want y'all to see this. And boom. See? Nothing. Get it. I do not get it. I might have to work on it then after the race or something, figure out what's going on. It's a connection between Trade Paints and me or what? I don't know. But you just saw that outlaw out there. You saw that Brett hit control R. So.
Yeah, look, I know you've been working at it hard behind the scenes, and I think it's just a part of, unfortunately, part of some technical issues that sometimes we can't get sorted out, and it's a bit of a pain in the back.
It's got to be a talking thing between iRacing. Yeah, Outlaws even called that is a weird one. It is. I've had it where issues to where I've logged in, had to log out, and had to do it before, and it's come up, but and fortunately, some of the paints might not show up right. Anyways, Dylan Wilson's out front. Yeah, we got a good battle for the lead.
Yeah, certainly do. The 57 of AJ Cruz. He's looking for a good run here tonight in the Super Late Model Series here at the Dirt Track at Charlie. He's got Dylan Wilson working back to the inside. We work down the back straight away into turn number 3 and 4. Wilson with a slide job on Cruz one more time. Cruz looks back to the inside. No, he's going to tuck in behind the A machine of Wilson. Here comes a 13 entry. That is Travis St. Clair.
It is. So the top 3 right now knows the tail, but here comes a 7. Bob Klein says, I don't want to have to run the numbers tonight. I want to be able to get in here the easy way. He's going to the bottom side down there on the Catfish line. If he can't get it done under St. Clair and take that 3rd place and final transfer away.
Well, Dylan Wilson coming into tonight without the drop weeks is sitting in position number 6 in the point standings with 443. So he's still got a lot of work to do if he wants to get a top 5 finish in the points championship come the end of tonight. Of course, not running next week the Super Late Models, just the Pro Late Models next week for their season finale. But right now, we have got 1 lap remaining.
1 lap, and it's all Wilson out front. He's got Cruz there with him as they come out of 4. It's going to be... actually coming out 3 and 4 right now, and I'm going to see if Klein's going to be able to get to him. Not going to happen. It's going to be Wilson, Cruz, St. Clair taking the top 3. And you're okay out there, Bolton, man. We've been working on it since the last race, and hey, it's great. It's going to great.
It is one of those things. But look, like I said, there's nothing we can do about it. So unfortunately, we've just got to stick with it.
Well, we got right now Camden Johnson going to start here in our heat race number 3. He's going to be out front. John Rosario.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Was that it?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
okay.
Rosario.
I've been trying to get his name right ever since you told me, and I know I probably butchered it a million times. But Hagen Sorensen there in 3rd, Jarrett Jones up in 4th, Jason Moore in 5th, Matt George in 6th, and Matthew Logan up in 7th. And I got to give a shout out to Brett. He helped me out there on John's name because. Called him everything but ravioli. I've called him everything, so messed it all up.
All right, penultimate heat race of the night, heat race number 3 of 4 here at the Dirt Track at Charlie Miller Family Trucking World of Thunder Esports League Super Late Model Season Finale. Another 8 laps on the board. Yeah, absolutely. Another 8 laps on the board. Another top 4 going through to tonight's A main. Again, we'll take 16 cars directly into tonight's what is a 50-lap main event. And I was here last night, Joe, and drivers did 50 green flag laps. It was green to check. It was a nice thing. So we'll see if we can have that here tonight. But who knows? Here we go.
Awesome. Here's about to get set to go green flag racing. Right now, you've got Johnson out front, but boy, he's got that 44. Sorensen's on his back. Rogerios right there on the bottom side. You talk about him, don't count him out, but boy, it's a battle for the top 3. They didn't get the memo if they were already in the race.
Oh, well, look, Rosario goes through the middle of the speedway. Sorensen works back to the inside of number 15 machine, but meanwhile Camden Johnston in caliber 22 is your race leader. 2 down, 6 to run here in the penultimate heat race of the night. The final race for the Super Late Models presented by the Miller Family Trucking. 3 wide again for the race lead. Sorensen down low, Rogerio through the middle, and Johnson right upstairs.
Man, I tell you what a battle it is. As Johnson, like you say, cleared them up top. Rogerio there in second right now. Sorensen hanging on to third. Everybody single file. John has other plans though, and down low, hanging on. Sorensen, he likes that low line here at this track.
Yeah, he's certainly not afraid to dig it down low, dig it deep, and sell it cheap at the moment. But again, we continue on with heat race number 3 here on the night. Camden Johnson still your race leader. Rogerio still sitting in second spot in that D1RT Racing number 44 machine. Well, here comes the 45 of Jared Jones after position number 4. Just 3 laps left to go, Joe. And I tell you what, Jared Jones, he's starting to close in on the back of the 15 machine of Hagen Sorensen as we work through turn 1 and 2.
Right now, and I'm gonna.
You good? I'm watching. I'm watching in things.
That does not look like it.
Let me have a look, because it's weird, because no, it's not. I can confirm that it's not the car that I'm seeing on my screen, but we'll go with it.
Hey, sounds good. All right. Well, Johnson out front. Dario, Thorson. Looks like it's going to be the top 3. What are you seeing?
I'm seeing their proper paint scheme.
Well, I know you see.
It is a black, orange, and yellow number 45.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
call
weird,
trading
'cause,
paints
like,
up, man. Just yell.
Yeah, I was going to say it's weird because sometimes I've had it, Joe, where people have had their trading paints working, and then I've been in your shoes. I've done everything possible to
Now, see,
get
like the
trading
top
paints
guys
working,
right there
but,
that you see right there, Brett, those don't look like iRacing paint.
Hang on, let me.
And now they might be different than what you're showing, but those don't look like iRacing paint. Those right there, those iRacing paint.
That might be an old one.
It might be old ones of theirs. Hey, either way, grit it up. Tanner Tomashi out front in this one. Scott Smith starting in second. Cody Sieber in third. Brendan Freeberg there in fourth. Joey Lamb up in fifth. Dylan Hauser up in sixth. John Darby there in seventh. So, I guess Hauser does race.
It was Hauser's house at Fairbury. Whose house is it here in the Super Late Model?
Well, it's. I gotta say the champ's house is Blake Majulis. I mean, he's hard to beat. I mean, you know, Hauser can get up there and do a lot with them, but got a lot more stiffer competition than this one. Is already you see Tomasi up front. Is that how you say his name, Tomasi?
Yeah, Tomasi.
All right, good deal. He's out front. Freebird's hanging on to second. Lamb, though, is the man who's got a lot of guys behind him. Sieber and Hauser there. They want that final transfer spot.
Oh, what can Hauser do? He'll go back to the bottom side into turn 1 and 2. Sieber looks to cut back to the middle of the racetrack. Here we go, nearly 3 wide. Joey Lamb upstairs. Hauser with a slide jump. Has to be careful. Oh, Hauser got tied into the side of Joey Lamb. He goes now. Here comes Sieber. There's all sorts of meat in the bag and all sorts of rubbing and stuff going on. Here I was. No, I thought it was October, not February.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Christmas gifts, man, this early on, as you got Smith, Lamb, Sieber, and the man hanging on to that final transfer spot, Hauser, so he's getting up there. He wants to find an easy way to get into the feature. Meanwhile, Tomasi, Freebird, they're walking away from the field. Lamb, though, he has fallen back to fourth. Smith, Sieber, and all, they still battling out side by side.
Yeah, well, it's the top 4 that go through. Joey Lamb had it, but he just clipped the wall on the front straight, and now he's going to fall back to about the 7th position. The battle now rages on for the transfer position. Cody Sieber in the 357 machine, battling with Scott Smith in car 53. Just 3 laps to go. Sieber upstairs again. He's going to keep the momentum up on the top side of the racetrack. Drives around the outside of Scott Smith, and now Scott Smith, who is now going to have some pressure here from John Darby in the 00 machine.
Yeah, about the best battle of the track back here, because meanwhile Tomasi Freebird just running nose to tail. They're out front. Hauser's trying to hang on to that 3rd place, but Sieber seeing if he can't do anything. He is alone in that 4th place, but meanwhile Smith and Darby, those 2 guys, man, are battling out on the track.
Well, the white flag is out, 1 to run for your race leader. Tanner Tomasi makes his way down the back straightaway. It is the Speed Ranch setup number 09 machine. He will make his way out of turn number 4. Checkers around 14 at Tomasi. He gets the win. Second will go to Brandon Freeberg in car 71. Then you go back to Dylan Howes the third, and Cody Sieber rounds out your top 4.
All right, well, here to the C main. And wow. Good him up. Josh Fuller's going to be the man out front. Jason Moore there in second. Jason Salter up in third. Matthew Logan in fourth. We got Jake Cawley. Cawley? Is it Cooley?
Cawley.
Fifth, Matt George there in sixth. Top 3 go to the feature.
That is correct. Looking at, it's top 3. It's 10 laps.
Yeah, good thing is Steve, he always gives me...
Yeah, he just sent me a message too saying top 3, but I just told him I'm actually in the server, so... Yep, it's all good.
Too, back in.
Yeah, no, that's because I have the UI part thing up, or whatever you call it. Yeah, the info tab is what I'm going to go with, Joe.
Kind of cool, man. You see those cars, that right side tire actually was up in the air, and as soon as they got on the gas, the car leveled out.
Mm-hmm.
Wild suspension on it.
Yeah, super late models do their thing as the safety, the pace truck. It is the iRacing.com Chevy pace truck moves infield. Joe, our first of 2 B mains getting set to roll off here out of turn 4 with Josh Fuller.
Got some that's going to go to the feature, some that's going to go home. We'll see what happens here. The top 3, they go to the feature. The other 3, they're going home here. So Fuller right now is out front. He's the man with Salter sitting in second, though, down low. Moore's up in the top side in that final transfer. So you got Cooley, Logan, and George now has to see what they can do to get in that feature tonight.
Well, just looking at these 6 drivers on the racetrack, not one of them are inside the top 10 in the point standings. So it's been a tough night, or it's been a tough season, I should say, for these particular 6 drivers. Again, they fight for 3 transfer positions. Jason Salty, a race leader in car 10. Fuller works back to the outside in the 12 machine. Then you go back, and now the battle is on for that 3rd and final transfer position. Jason Moore in the 88. He's got the ML Performance. D1RT Racing, number 41 entry of Matt Logan, who again is no stranger to the iRacing.com service, but no stranger to this particular racetrack. I believe he is a track curator at this very racetrack.
Right now, he is outside looking in, about to go home. If he's able to do anything and pull off a miracle, he's back in that fourth place spot. He needs to be in the 3rd place. Moore, though, has got his hands full. He is hoping those 2 guys get together. As you see, Moore down low and Fuller sitting up on the high side. Not what you want to do with 6 laps to go, knowing that you're into the field.
Well, Jason Moore, he's looking for more position. He's looking for a better starting spot in tonight's main event. There was very little in it between Jason Moore and Josh Fuller. It was 0.013 of a second, so a little over 100th of a second between Moore and Fuller at the start-finish line on the previous lap. What's it going to be? Who's it going to be out of turn number 4? Boy, I tell you what, I think Josh Fuller had it at the line. He did by 2 1,000ths of a second, Joe.
Yep, Salter out front. We got Moore right along with it. Fuller hanging on strong. Down low, still Moore. But right behind him, though, you've got Logan now into this picture along with George now up there, too. Logan and Fuller.
Tell you what, keep an eye on Matt Logan, that 41 machine. He's hungry for a top 3 finishing position, but Josh Fuller at the moment clutching at the final transfer position. Jason Salter continues to lead the way up on the top side of the racetrack. Moore continues to work down low. Joe Whitefire goes out. 1 lap left to run.
Yeah, and here's what the danger part is. They are racing hard for that 2nd place, and you have got Logan right there on the outside looking in. If they make contact, he could easily get into the show, but it looks like with 1 more turn to go, his fate is sealed, as it's going to be Salter, Fuller, and Moore going to the feature. Logan, George, and Cooley all going home.
Well, that was, I'll tell you what, for only 6 cars in that B main, for those 4 drivers that were separated by less than 0.8 of a second after 10 laps, that was a pretty good showing for those drivers, Jason Salter, Josh Fuller, and Jason Moore. So it's the Triple J's that will go on. Matt Logan, Matt George, unfortunately, will also be going home along with Jake Cawley as well. So, Joe, that race The
Man.
first initial of those 6 drivers started with a J or an M. Just a little weird stat or a fact.
I love it. Well, B-main time. Cruz Cadell out front in this one. Scott Smith starting in second. Ben Kudemarsh there in third. John Darby up in fourth. Nick Baum in fifth. And Joey Lamb rounds out that 6th place spot. 3 cars go to the feature. 3 cars go home again.
So you're just looking at, again, the drivers in this B-main just to see who is inside the top 10. Doesn't look like it there is, so I'll be right back.
Adele gets a good jump out there. Kudemarsh going to hold on in the second. He's got a battle on with Smith. Never mind. Here comes Baum. Sticks his nose up in there. Top 3. Riding along, but remember, top 3, that's where you want to be. And right here, Smith on the back bumper. Down low, here comes Darby, though. Little contact made with Smith. He goes flying back. They're 4 wide almost. Darby's there in the middle, or the bottom side. He's in a final transfer spot. Ben Kudemarsh says, not today, I got to get it back. Nope, he falls all the way to the last spot. Scott Smith gets it up here. Has he got his... Yep, that's the first man. I knew it. He's down low. He always got pop smoke on his thing.
Yeah, Scott Smith right now in the 53 is looking to make his way into position number 2, trying to get by the O2 machine of Nick Baum. Meanwhile, your race leader, I think that's the 55 entry of Cruz Cordell. He's absolutely walking away with this one. Again, 3 cars battling for positions 2, 3, and 4. Baum gets a little tight. Darby moves back to the inside. John Darby will now move into position number 3 at the start finish line. Gets into the back of Smith a little bit as they work into 1 and 2. Nick Baum rails it around the outside of the racetrack and moves and rockets that number 2 machine back into second position.
He does. Baum hangs on the second. Darby down in the middle part, but Smith down low trying to see what he can do. These 3 guys, it's going to be anybody getting that last final transfer spot, and it's going to definitely be interesting because Caldell, he has done checked out on the field. So it is on Baum, Darby, Smith, but you've also, don't count out Lamb. If he can get up a little bit closer and get away, he might be able to do something. Right now, we're kind of splitting up for that 3rd place.
Yeah, Darby looks to give himself a bit of breathing room right now. Scott Smith back there in the 4th position. Again, looking at the points, Darby sits 18th in the points. Cruz Cordell, I can't see inside the top 20. That doesn't matter about the points right now because at the moment, in the final prelim race and the final race of the season, yeah, the B-main, it is Cruz Cordell out in front. John Darby moves into second position at the start-finish line. Here comes Nick Baum back to the outside again. So, boy, Joe, this track is really starting to widen up. It's really starting to produce a number of lines here at the dirt track at Charlotte.
It is. You got the low line, you got the high line. We're seeing it being able to be utilized. You're up there, top side wicket cushion. You got them guys down there on the putt-putt line making it work, and that's Darby and Baum. With the white flags out, Caudill says, hey, you guys have what we want back there. I am long gone. They're going to take this one home, as you've got now. Caudill, Baum, Darby going to the feature. Smith, Kudemarsh, and Lamb. Hey, they're going home. Whew,
Yes,
a little warm-up.
Yeah, you got to feel sorry for the drivers that didn't make the show, but 22 cars will start tonight's 50-lap A main event. The track is going to be open. I don't think we're going to have it open for too long because if I go back to the race last night here, Steve, that I done with the NLRA, and again, a lot of the drivers that I've seen last night are here, but a lot of these drivers that you see week in and week out over the past, it's been 9 weeks, of course, tonight is week number 10. These drivers, they know how to get around there. They're no stranger to putting themselves in a good spot to win the tonight's A-Main, but just being told it's only a 2-minute warm-up session, so not a whole lot of time for these drivers to get out there, and it's more so for the drivers that transferred directly from the heats, because if you go back to heat race number 1, and I'll tell you who won that one, that was Dylan Yeager. So the likes of Yeager, Selby, Fields, and Blake Majulis, those 4 drivers who transferred directly from heat 1, it's a totally different racetrack when it comes to the racing line. The surface has widened up a bit. It's gotten a lot more slicker, so more so for the drivers that are transferred into the heat.
Change the camera.
Hey, you're good. I wasn't paying attention. I was just having a nice little chit chat. So it's going to be a good 50-lap main event, hopefully here in a few moments' time. Again, Joe, something I haven't done for a while. Obviously, like I said, it's been nearly seven months since I've sort of been back behind the booth, but I've done. I think it's about my fourth one, maybe fifth one in the last couple of weeks. So, who do you think's going to win tonight?
Well, if you're a betting man, you never want to bet against Majulis. The problem is he's probably going to be starting in a hole, or at least around about fifth.
Try 14th.
Okay, well then he's in a real hole. So, with that said, coming through the field, what we've seen here so far, even with the mains and with the heat races, real quick, is passing has been very hard to do. Even though there's multiple lanes, we've not seen a lot of guys be able to come through the field and pass all that much. So, I hate to say it this way, I think it's going to be whoever's out front when they need to be, almost like what it was the last race with Hauser. Hauser was right there in second and just could not do anything until the leader got in trouble. And if we get some long green flag runs, it'll be the same way here tonight. You do got Jaeger out front starting in this one. He's a tough cat. I mean, you got the world of pro drivers out here for iRacing, and a lot of them are out here. And Jaeger, Wilson, top two, definitely. I mean, the Dillon boys, that's what I call them. Dillon starting out front. So, and with Camden there, and you got Tomasi starting in fourth. Selby, that's another one to keep your eye on. He's starting there in fifth. Brandon. AJ Cruz starting up into the sixth place spot. And then John Ruggiero, you know what? That guy might be one to come through the field. Brandon Freeberg starting in 8th. Jacob Fields in 9th. Travis St. Clair 10th. Hagen Sorensen 11th. Dylan Hauser, he's starting there in 12th. We'll look to the rest of this field right quick here. You said it. Blake Majulis got to come 13th. Can he do it? Have I ever seen him come through the field? Absolutely. Don't count him out. The problem is what I see as we get set for a four wide salute here. What I see a lot of here, Brett, when he has to come through the field, he just runs out of time, and sometimes it cautions. But 4 wide here tonight for the fans. Well, I know you love this 4 wide stuff here, Brett.
Oh yeah, absolutely, I do. And look, I got to say, it's been 5.5. It's been about 5.5 years ago. Obviously, the World of Thunder eSports League group formed, now known as the Miller Family Trucking World of Thunder eSports League. Close to nearly 2,000 members on the iRacing.com servers, and one of the oldest iRacing sanctioned series. Of course, the drivers and staff from the World of Thunder eSports League group would like to thank you, the fans at home, for watching the Miller Family Trucking Super Late Models as they go 4 wide here at the dirt track at Charlotte.
Awesome sight to see, man. There's a real dirt race. Check this out, because this is something that dirt racing does. It's awesome. My hat's off to them.
And Joe, just as well, they are doing the Missing Man formation, of course. Rick Eshelman lost his life for World of Outlaws announcer. Obviously, just to the World of Thunder, obviously just paying their respects to Rick, and of course the thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends of Rick.
Run so far, still trying. Hoping it will. He just not. Don't get it.
Yeah, look, it's one of them things, Joe. Like I said,
it
when it doesn't work.
Here's the thing: what I hate is a lot of these guys, man. They put their hard work in a lot of the paint jobs and sponsors out. I really like showcasing that for a lot of these guys. So it sucks on my end, and I ain't able to write paint jobs out there. I mean, we've tried every way other than calling up iRacing. Hey, look, man. Terry has made. Oh, Terry Berry. Tyler Berry.
Terry Berry? Yeah, no, it's Terry Berry.
Oh, man. All right. Well, you asked who I thought I might be able to pull this thing off. Who's maybe your fan favorite you think's got the power here to pull it off?
If the bottom side stays locked down, I think Dylan Yeager gets the job done, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Majulis, Hauser maybe top 5. So, yeah, again, look, I'll go with Dylan Yeager.
Okay, and that's that's a good one. Like I say, you can't go wrong. Unfortunately, with the dirt how they are, it favors a lot of the leaders out front. Once you get out front like it is, I mean, you see this 3 wide happening behind him. That's Wilson, Johnson, Selby, Tomasi, and they are out there just beating and banging on each other. You got AJ Cruz, Rosario in the mix down low. Talk about Majulis. He's already up tonight. I mean, he could cut through this field like butter, and we'll just see. But he just needs time. He needs green flag runs. And look at that car, Brett, man, up on his side. And this is what he doesn't need. Yellow flags.
It's Jason
Moore.
Darby. Jason Moore was one of the cars that was around.
Got John Darby and Jason Moore. Darby got. Oh, Darby hit the tire, and Moore nowhere to go. Donut come out there and bit him. Yeah, eat that.
Oh no. Okay, so looking at the replay that I'm looking at, Jason Moore just hits the brakes. He hits the brakes, and then of course Darby had nowhere to go.
I'm on Darby right now. Oh yeah. Oh my bad. I was on. Okay, yeah. The 88 hit the brake, or did he hit the donut?
No, hit the brake. Hit the brake.
All right. Well, I was about to say, you can't eat that thing. It's a little hard.
I'm pretty sure. Look, I mean, some people have tried. I know I've.
Can you imagine somebody down there start chewing on things out of them? I might want to get him off the track. All right. If you're new to the Wotel series here, Miller Family Truck and eSports Wotel, they do what they call the Delaware double file restart, where the leader gets to be out front by himself and everybody else is double file behind him. So I kind of look kind of weird up front here, which is why it benefits the leader a lot on the cautions. Yeager, that's why those guys in the back, like Rosario and Blake Majulis and company, when they're trying to come through the field, they need these green flag runs. I mean, look at Majulis right now. He is cutting and slicing all the way up to 8. He went low, he went in the middle, he went high. These guys are 3 or 4 wide back in the back.
Yeah, well, he was one of the drivers that turned up last night in the NLRA Super Late Model final race. Of course, he absolutely dominated. It took him about 15 to 20 laps to finally get going. Of course, he had Dylan Yeager, who was actually working the inside line, but yeah, once that top side came in, Blake Majulis was absolutely dominating. And well, keep an eye on that 127 machine. We're still early on. We're still 5 down, 45 to go. So wait for about probably lap 20 mark is when you'll see Majulis really start to make his way forward up inside sort of the top 5, even maybe top 3. And then once he gets there, then he'll have the task of trying to track down your race leader. We go 3 wide, Tomasi, Rosario and Majulis down into 3 and 4. Selby again works the inside of the racetrack, as does Majulis. We got 1 car around. It's a 7 machine. We're about to go yellow.
Like Bob Klein. Now, with that said, you asked me earlier on what I thought about who's going to win, and I said Blake Majulis is going to have a hard time coming through the field. But he is one of them. As we watch this replay, and Klein just got punched in rear, went around. But as far as Majulis goes, he is probably one of the best to come through the field. I've seen him do it time and time again. Sometimes the bad thing is it's cautions like this that hurt him. Yeah, it closes the field back up, but it also puts him back in a bunch. And I think he really needs those long green flag runs to get it going. And then once he gets, let's say, maybe up to 3rd or 4th or somewhere like that, get that caution. Because then by then, obviously somebody like Yeager, who is leading, going to have a big lead. But that would bring him right back into the mix. So he doesn't need these untimely cautions like it is now, trying to come through the field, which nobody does, until you get to about, like I said, 2nd, 3rd place. Then you might want that caution to reel in the leader and, close it all back up, which is true on the asphalt side too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, another good thing here is, for Blake, he's actually going to restart on the outside. So that was his preferred line going into 1 and 2. So again, he'll be looking at the racetrack to see what it's doing and where he needs to be. In fact, he goes right through the middle of turn 1 and 2. Keep an eye on Selby in the 46 machine. He picked up the NLRA Super Late Model Championship last night as we complete another lap. 9 down, 41 to go. Battle on for second between Camden Johnson, Dylan Wilson, Johnston in the 22, Wilson in that 80 machine there, just in front of the 46 machine of Matt Selby, which you can see on your screen at the moment. So Selby, he's right now in the middle of a two-wide battle in front and behind. So he's the meat between the buns at the moment, Joe.
Yes, he is, and he's up there on that top side cushion, like you said. But look here, Majulis makes the move to the inside to try to throw a slide job on him. Right behind him, though, is Tomasi. You still got 3 or 4 wide cars. I mean, all the way through the field. Back there, Freeberg, Sorensen, Hausers, Cruz, Cadell, just to name a few. Back in the back. Yeager's still the man out front, though, loving it, walking away. And that's what I was talking about before. If Majulis gets up here to 4th like he is right now, if he gets around Camden Johnson, then he's probably going to be thinking, you know what? I don't have a car that can run down Yeager. Love to see a caution. Then it pulls this whole field back in. He wouldn't mind it at that point. Right now, Yeager's looking strong, and these guys back here just battling.
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt Selby and Blake Majulis, they are chopping and changing lines. They both go to the top, and then, of course, one goes top, one goes bottom. Tomasi just gets into the back of Selby just a little bit down the back straightaway. We go 3 wide for a moment now. Tomasi gets by. Selby's got Jacob Fields now on the outside. Then you go back to Dylan Hauser in that number 2 machine, the House of Speed number 2. Your winner from the Pro Late Models. He's starting to come into his own right now in the Supers. Meanwhile, your race leader is still Dylan Yeager, Dylan Wilson, Camden Johnson. That's your top 3. But again, that battle between Selby, Tomasi, again, they work top, they work bottom, and right now Selby just trying to hold on to a top 10 position here at the moment.
It is. You see Tomasi right there going to the middle, see if he can thread that needle. What's up, Willie? How you doing out there? He says, go Tanner Tomasi. Well, Tomasi's looking good. He's back in 6th. Is who we're talking about. You talk about Hauser winning the other one, and I talk about him. I always say in the Pro Late Models, the who house is the Hauser house. Bad thing is, though, it's a flip. Majulis can come through the field like, man, the guy, I don't know, man. He just flies through the field. Hauser, I see, has struggled when he gets in a pack of cars. He might not agree on it, but I see it week in and week out. It's like a struggle for him to get through. So maybe those House of Speeds setups might need to be adjusted on traffic. Not sure, but that's just the kind of what I see, because Majulis, he can come through the field right now. He's up to 4th. He's putting the heat on the backside of Camden Johnson, 3rd place man.
Well, I think the only way we get to lap traffic is the fact that if this race stays green for the rest of the way. But right now, Dylan Yeager again, it's like what I see last night. He was working the bottom, but now he goes top 1 and 2. We'll go back to the bottom in turn number 3 and 4. And well, don't worry about getting into lap traffic, because we've got Josh Fuller. We've got 2 cars that have got their turtle. There's Hagen Sorensen, and there is Jason Wall. That is correct.
Ow. Punches the wall, and then he gets punched.
It actually started with, if you go back and have a look, it actually started with Hagen Sorensen. The 55 of Cruz Cordell got him. Josh Fuller got involved, and then of course Sorensen nowhere to go. Jason Moore and Nick Baum actually had nowhere to go also. So yeah, it all started with that 45. There's the contact with the 55 of Cruz Cordell.
And did the pit maneuver on him. And he went and got him a natural light beer. Said, I'm going to drive like I'm drunk.
Yeah, well, you can't give a beer to Hagen Sorensen. He's underage, Joe. So maybe he might have had some of that soda.
Soda.
Mm-hmm.
Better call him at home. Make sure he's. He'll be dead.
Yeah, let's hope not. Double 5 restart. 21 down, 29 to go, Joe.
Yeah, well, we don't. Now, here's where I was talking. The all entire race. Blake Majulis. This is his opportunity. This is what he wants. He wanted to get up here to 4th. Now, he didn't want to be in the middle of these guys like they are right now. Jacob Fields out of nowhere. We didn't really talk about him, but he's up to 5th all of a sudden. Bam! But you see Majulis now, but you got Camden Johnson and Wilson. Majulis really needs to clear Johnson and Wilson and then get that caution that he needs and get right there and then hopefully stay with him. But Majulis right now is getting beat up and knocked around as Rosario, and we got cars all over the place. I saw Rosario go around in the back, but Hauser's involved in this one. Come the hell. Watch him one more time and see what happened.
So they've just called the 46 of Matt Selby the cause of the caution. Of course, as you can see, got into the back of Dylan Hauser. Can confirm John Can confirm John Ruggiero has pulled up infield. He is going back. In fact, he's gone to the outside.
Him, get some damage or fly somewhere. I thought
he's done. He's done. He's called it tonight.
Man, hate it there, man. Old John Ruggiero definitely has a fast car out there. Now, we were talking about Blake Majulis. What he needs to get around Wilson and Johnson, and then gets these Brett Wheeler at fault for
Hey, don't blame me.
That's what outlaws.
That's BJ.
Oh, it is? He sends me all the info. This is your fault. Got somebody called.
No, that's his fault. it's his fault for being here.
Well, the man that's not really, I know it breaks your concentration being a leader, but with this Delaware double file restart, it benefits you so much. It's almost basically like a single file restart to the leader. So really, if it benefits anybody, it does benefit the leader out there. And Yeager right now is loving it. You got Cameron Johnson, Dylan Wilson there battling it out. The man who really would love to get around both of those guys right behind him is Blake Majulis. He's trying everything he can, low, high, middle, seeing what he can do, but just nothing's working right now. Tomasi is a man up there on the top side too, though.
Yeah, these drivers are not afraid to work up on the top side of the racetrack, but again, you still got drivers working down on the bottom side through 1 and 2 for the likes of Camden Johnson, who is trying to stick all the way down to the bottom side, all the way around. Majulis to the inside right now on Dylan Wilson. Here comes Tanner Tomasi, that Speed Ranch number 09 machine. He's up into the top 5, trying to get himself onto a podium position, but right now, that has been occupied by the ADD of Dylan Wilson.
So far, so good for all Yeager out front. He's got Johnson right behind him. Wilson holding on to third. Majulis has been able to climb his way all the way up to the fourth, but he wants more as he looks for third. You got Tomasi behind him in fifth. Jacob Fields up in sixth, and right there with Freeberg, seventh. Salter in eighth. Hauser, though, even going upside down and around like he did, he's back up to ninth. A.J. Cruz rounds out the top 10. Just notable names that are out of this one right now. John Ruggiero, Matthew Selby, Cody Sieber, just to name a few. And then some guys that are off the pace real bad. Cruz Caudell, he's back here in 12th. And Travis St. Clair just went into the pits himself. But we got some heavy hitter names that are, having some trouble tonight.
Well, biggest mover through the field, John Darby from 22nd up to position number 11. That's plus 11 positions. You've got the likes of Jason Salter, from 17th to 8th, and Blake Majulis 13th to 4th. So both those drivers at plus 9. So, Joe, we've had some drivers really work their way through the field throughout the course of this opening 29, make it 30 laps, and we've only got 20 to go.
Yes, we do. We'll see if this thing can go clean and green right now. I know Yeager would definitely be loving it, and he is out front as Johnson's here with him. Wilson, you see now, Blake Majulis. If you're Blake Majulis, I gotta ask. I know you want to win, but at this point, you've won the championship. At what motivates him to want to get up now?
He just, I spoke to him last night, and I asked him, what kind of pressure he puts on himself, because no matter what he drives, he's going to be one of those top 3. I already put him in one of the top 3 drivers across the iRacing.com service. He just said he wants to come out every night and he just wants to do good. It's as simple as that. He just wants to be there at the end. As long as he can give a nice clean car, he's going to put himself in a good position to be there at the end.
And you know what? He definitely does that. I talked about it. And to me, he's one of the drivers, especially here in the Miller Family Truck and Wotel series, from what I've seen. Now, I don't watch much of the Pro Series there, but from what I see here, he's one of the best to come through the field here in the super late models. Again, I talk about Hauser on the Pro late model side. On the flip side of that, when he gets into traffic, it's like the car's just not set up well to come through traffic. But Majulis, whatever he does, he has a bad start. And to me, Brett, that's scary if I'm other drivers. If he can come through the field like that, Lord help us if he has a good night and he starts out front.
Well, I mean, he had a good run last night. You know, he started on. He started. I'm pretty sure he started front row. Like I said, he had a good battle for the first 15, 18 laps with Dylan Yeager, who again, Yeager was on the bottom side. And it was a very similar track to what we're seeing here tonight. But once he found that rhythm, he ended up driving away from the rest of the field and lapping drivers inside. I think it was close to the top 10, if not into the top 10. So, you know, 50 green flag laps, and that 127 was just an absolute machine.
Absolutely. And, you know, don't take anything away from those top 4 guys. I mean, Yeager out there, he is a pro driver and a world champ out there, or, you know, on the iRacing circuit. Camden Johnson could be. I mean, he could very easily get there as this battle now is happening here. Dylan Wilson, another pro driver there. So Blake Majulis is not up there against a bunch of iRacing, how did Tyler Berry say, grubs and whatnot. I mean, he's up there with some of the best. So for him to get up the 4th and come to the field like he did, I mean, you look at some of the I ratings out here, these guys are just astronomical. For him to come to the field and get up where it is, it is tough sledding. You've got some outstanding competition, but he loves what he's seeing. Wilson and Johnson battling, and that's going to give him an opening. He's going to the middle. Now, I'm going to tell you, if he gets around these 2 guys, he's going to hope for a caution because he's not going to have enough time to run down Yeager.
No, I think Yeager, all barring a caution, I think this one is going to be signed, sealed, and delivered for that 48 machine. But tell you what, it's not over until the checkered flag comes out, and well, we're going to wait 7 more laps. And here comes Majulis around the outside. That 127, here he comes. He's finally found his rhythm. He's finally found his mojo. To the middle he goes. He gets by Camden Johnston. And Joe, at the line, it was 1.624 seconds between Dylan Yeager and Blake Majulis. As they come past the start-finish line that time, it's 1.3. He's picked up nearly 0.3 of a second, Joe.
And now's when he wants to caution because he's completed that lap pass over Johnson, so he doesn't have to give it back. Now's when he would, if a caution was to fly, he wants it to fly now, right? Because that way it pulls Yeager right back into it. Even though he would have to deal with the double file start, he still would be there with Yeager and have a chance. I'm not saying if I don't know, 5 laps, I think he's going to run out of time, especially with the gap. And I look at the lap times he's out there running. They're close. He needs tenths in order to pull in Yeager right now.
16.026 for Yeager on the previous lap. Majulis 15.928. That was 1/10 of a second as they come past the start-finish line and complete lap 47. A 15.960 to 16.0. Yeah, he needs at least 2 or 3/10 of a second, or he needs that yellow. And with only 2 to go, Joe, once they get that white flag, that's it. All bets are off. They race it to the start-finish line.
Yeah, I always say this, man, every time. When they get a white flag, doesn't matter what happens, they can kill themselves. You're right. Absolutely. So he needs it now. But I'm going to tell you what, Yeager's out front, coming out of 4. He needs him to make a mistake like that. Get up there. Mental mistakes can kill you. We don't talk about that. These guys can have them. But white flag, it's all she wrote unless he makes a mistake. Jules can get up here.
Well, final time for season number 18 out of Turtle 4. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner. He started off the series with a win in week number 2. He gets his 2nd win in week number 10. Dylan Yeager goes to victory lane. Hey, Joe.
Woo.
I picked Dylan Yeager to win too, by the way, if you recall.
You did. Oh, and I said if Blake Majulis could get through it, you know what? There we go. We had the top 2 guys, man. Way to go. But it benefits a lot. I've seen enough of these races to know it benefits whoever's out front so much. I hate to say it that way, but it really does. I'm not taking anything away from any of the talent these guys. There's a load of it out here. But it really does benefit a lot who's out here. It looks like they're going to be John Darby's going to be our charger. Up here, want to get a word with him?
Yeah, sure. I'll chat with who you want me to. All right, chatting with tonight's hard charge of the double zero machine of John Darby. John, 22nd to 11th. You pick up 11 spots. You made it very hard for yourself tonight, but tell you what, come over 11th, you got to be happy with that result.
Man, I couldn't be happier at all. I just I avoided all the wrecks, and that's really what got me up there.
Obviously, having to run the B main after the heat, after not transferring directly from the heat, you had somewhat of a track advantage and track knowledge of going into what the track was like. What kind of adjustments did you make, if any, to your race car from that B main for the A main?
To be honest with you, I'm really not sure. I was in Discord with Blake, and man, he helps a lot, man. And he asked me what I was running, and I was like, man, I really don't know. And he said, here, give this a try. And I put it on and made the transfer out of the B main, and I just can't thank him enough.
Well, I'll tell you what, hell of a run by you tonight in that double zero machine. You had 22nd to 11th plus 11, making it tonight's hard charger in the final race of the Miller Family Trucking World of Thunder Esports League. John, before we let you go, I know you've got a good look in your wrap on there. You know you've got it, of course. Joe having some trading paints issued, but now's an opportunity to thank those sponsors on that race car and the great people behind the scenes that make this possible for you.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I got to thank all the guys at CFM Esports, Majula State Speed Shop, Hood Up Motorsports, and CFM Designs by JDM.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. John Darby, tonight's a hard charger from 22nd to 11th. Joe?
Well, man, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and let's bring up the winner, man. You want to give word?
Sure. All right, standing by in victory lane with Dylan Yeager. And first of all, Dylan, two things. One, I picked you to win. And two, you actually won.
For the first time possibly ever, Brett.
What do you mean? Not always, but I sometimes pick you.
Yeah, but I usually don't win, you know.
And yeah, you choke.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, what changed tonight?
The 127 being held up by the 80 and the 22 the whole race.
Because last night you actually ran here 50 green flag ups. Tonight we have, I think, 4, maybe 5 cautions throughout the first half of that race. What did you learn from last night that you sort of applied here tonight?
Obviously going with a little bit stiffer of a setup tonight rather than last night. I know I was complaining about being tight last night. That definitely helped. I wasn't really getting tight up on the cushion at all, but I do think I still have a little bit of work to do with the setup going into Monday. You know, it was good, but it can definitely be a little bit better still. So, you know, I always like going into this league or, you know, any other leagues that follows a pro schedule. It's really good practice for pro series.
Right. Tonight we didn't get to see too much lap traffic compared to what we seen last night. Were you happy that, you know, you didn't have to lap too many cars, and the cars that did finish sort of a lap down were casualties back in the pits?
Yeah, it's always nice. I mean, at the big tracks, you don't really have to worry about that all that much. I know at smaller tracks like Fairbury and Kokomo, it can get a little intense, but, you know, at the bigger tracks like this in Eldora, you don't really have to worry about lap traffic all that much. I mean, even when it does go green for as many laps as it does, you know, it's nice not having to worry about it at all as the leader.
But you come into tonight sitting 5th in the point standings, of course, without the drop weeks being here in effect. Of course, even C not here tonight. Blake Majulis, Hauser was, Fields was, so you should pick up a few points on that one. Overall, how would you rate your season? 2 wins out of the 10 weeks. How would you rate your season?
It was good. It's always nice to get those 2 wins. You know, it's very tough with the 127 and 33 running every week, but you know, we'll take them when we get them. And I know I had a few weeks there where I just did not run good at all. So, you know, it was good running out there tonight and, you know, showing that I can still up some ass every once in a while. And you know, overall, not a bad season.
Oh, Dylan, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the season as well. I'm not sure where you're going to end up after tonight. Hopefully you sit somewhere inside the top 3 or top 5 for sure. But before we let you go, of course, here tonight for the final time in season number 18 for the Miller Family Trucking World of Thunder Esports League. Sponsors, shout out to all that good stuff, mate. Who makes this happen for you?
Yep, just got to thank everybody at Majulski Speed Shop and CFM Esports. Got to thank Nick Leonard. Congratulations on his Wotel retirement. That's pretty cool.
No, hang on. No, I'm gonna stop you there. I've had this discussion, and both Bill Miller and myself have made an executive decision, and we have denied that request. So he is not retiring. So you can wipe that clean. Yeah, thank you.
Never mind. Heck you, Nick. Anyways, gotta thank him as always for being a great sponsor.
Oh, I don't know who moved you, but yeah, continue on.
I clicked the wrong button. That's my bad. Gotta thank Nick as always. Gotta thank Totozala Frenchies, JDM Designs. Gotta thank you guys for the broadcast all season, and Wotel for putting on a great league for us to run every week.
All right, now we'll move him out. Joe, there's your winner, Dylan Yeager in the 48 machine.
Well, let's bring up the third place man here, Dylan Wilson. And then Dylan, Joe, the Boots Cup.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, you came home in third. You was battling hard up there. How was the truck and the car out there?
It was good. I mean, we just weren't as good as those first couple, but third place, never hang your head about that. Started second, so went backwards in the end, but not too bad. I just can't rip the top. Maybe a few laps at a time, and that's about all I got. And then I just, start to tense up a lot. So I really wanted to get to the middle there, and Blake kept trying to pass me in the middle, so I wasn't trying to cut his nose off, and ended up killing the wall there, running the top couple laps too many. So we'll take it and move on, and hopefully we get a similar track to that tomorrow in the Pro Series.
How'd you feel about your season so far in the Super Late Models?
I have no idea how I did in points or anything. I know I didn't win none. At least I don't think I did. So that's all I really care about, just trophies. So we'll take the good runs when we get them. And anytime you don't get wrecked, it's always a good time. So I think we had a pretty clean series in this one, and that's all you can hope for. And as long as they keep having them, we'll keep coming back to support them.
Well, it's odd that you say that you're out here for the trophies. I notice you are a pro driver. Normally, this right here is kind of a setup for the Pro Series on the Monday night. So do you use this as kind of a stepping stool or help or anything with your setups?
Yeah, because the weather is usually the same that they run for the Pro Series, so it's a really good idea of what the track's going to do. So, yeah, I mean, just to get the laps, but, I mean, the Spring Fling was here where we all probably turned thousands of laps trying to get ready for that, so I still had all my Spring Fling set up, so I just loaded them. They're still just as good as they were there. Probably just need a tweak on them just to make them a hair better.
But, man, you look good either way. Came home third. You got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, thanks to you guys at D1RT Racing. Thanks to Folds Graphics. Thanks to you guys, OSR, the network, for broadcasting, Brett, for being in the booth. Thanks to Wotel and all they do. I think they've been running this thing for like, that was like 10 years, but 4 or 5 years at least. So I appreciate them putting this on for us.
Tell you what, it's always good, man, to see you out there, Wilson, man. I always say, out there running that ball around. Wilson, look good tonight, third place.
Thank you, sir.
Yo, well, folks, he did it. Champ for the 15th time in the Miller Family Trucking Wotel Series. This guy right here, you might as well just call him Mr. Champ. Blake Majulis, Joe White and Boozy K.
Yes, sir.
Well, you ran through the field. I mean, like somebody said, free biscuits, because you were awesome. But you were the champ. Could you imagine 15-time champ?
No, not at all. I mean, we were just talking. I was just talking with Steve. We remembered the days when I was just first starting and whatnot, and now it's like, a couple years later, and I'm at like 130 wins or something and 15 championships, and I think like everyone over here just kind of like blows everyone's mind. Not really like about the wins and championships, just like how it has overcame over time, and I feel like it just keeps getting better and better, and to see how much the series has grown is awesome too. It's just like you're running against the best guys every week, so the wins really prove themselves, and obviously it feels really good to get a 15 championship here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And, one more, we can call you 16-time champ and start going, woo, to you, man. You know what I mean? That'd be awesome. But tonight, you came through the field. I have said, when it comes to the Wotel series, and I've watched you, coming through the field, you're one of the best to do it. I'm not really quite sure what happens on the Pro Series side, but here on the nights, I know you would prefer to be up front, but your setups are just they're dead on to bring you to the front. Does that go through your mind or help you when you have to go into the Monday night races?
Yeah, of course. I mean, realistically, in both this series and the Pro Series, I've had to come from the back, whether it's bad luck or whatever it may be. There's been a lot of conflict or whatnot through this whole season, realistically, for me. And like I said, it correlates really well. Like coming from the back here tonight, if I have to start in the back tomorrow, I know what I got to run, know what I got to do. It doesn't, it upsets me, but not really, because I know I'll be able to get up to the front. The only thing is catching the leader, and tonight we just didn't have enough time. You know, like I said before, we were really, really good tonight. I feel like if I had 5 more laps, it would have been a little different. But you know, happy Jaeger won. Obviously, he's due for a big one, and yeah, difficult track tonight, but we were able to come through the field and get second, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I got to ask that real quick. You talked about coming through the field and getting up front if you had some more time. What if you'd have had a caution there late when you second?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just praying for one, really. I knew if I had I didn't know if I had enough time to catch, but I was a tenth or two better there at the end, and I just didn't have enough time. But he was protecting well, so I'm not taking absolutely anything away from him. He was ripping tonight, and happy for him.
Oh, absolutely. Well, man, I'll tell you what, 15-time champ. You pulled it off here tonight. You are the champ for the Super Late Model Series here for the Wotel. That is the Miller Family Trucking eSports Wotel Series. You got anybody you want to thank for an awesome season?
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Majula Speed Shop, all my guys, all the drivers tonight. John Darby had a really good run tonight, getting 11th from 22nd. You know, he's been putting in the work and starting to show. And we had AJ Cruz in the top 10, Freeberg. Yeah, Jaeger won. I was second. So we had a really good night tonight. Go check us out. Race XR, WR1 Sim Chassis, Represent Limited, Reliable Energy Solutions, Design 75, Sweet Victory Racing Apparel, ML Performance. You, Joe White, you, Brett, I appreciate you guys very much, as always. Steve, for the series. Like I said, it just feels good to get another one of these.
Oh, absolutely. And the man out there, we've watched you excel, and it was an awesome, and congratulations on that championship. Hey, maybe more next year. But again, appreciate it there, Blake.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it very much.
Blake Majulis, and like you just said there, Brett, I mean, coming through the field like he does, it's a testimony of his setup, his skill, and what he's done. And you know, to win 15 championships here, Wotel Series, that's just unheard of. But you know, it's good. Talk about it, Wotel. It translates over to their Pro Series.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Blake said, you know, it's over 130 something wins in the history. I mean, yeah, Wotel's been going for, you know, for 5.5 years, but no driver more dominant in World of Thunder history than Blake Majulis when it comes to wins and champions. And he's done it, pros, supers. Pretty sure he's done it in sprint cars. I know Dylan Yeager's won a sprint car championship, so you know he's no stranger. And like I said during the cast and the call during that A main, I really rate Blake Majulis as one of the top 3 drivers across the iRacing.com service.
Absolutely. Well, man, I tell you what, it was an awesome, Brett. I appreciate you coming up here, and you know, and everything that Steve and all these guys do here at the Miller Family Trucking eSports Wotel Series. For myself, man, and everyone, and again, congratulations to Dylan Yeager pulling off the win, and Blake Majulis with that championship. For myself and everybody out there, hope y'all have a good week and a good rest of the weekend.